on the border crisis. There is on our border an international disgrace because of the behind watch the man-made disaster destroyed so many innocent young lives. We mobilize the church and labor organizations to do something about it. We send delegations of ministers down to El Paso today. We're mobilizing the churches and drugstores. 5,000. We're mobilizing 5,000 diapers, undergarments for men and women, and personal items for women, and trying to send a team of doctors to check out the children. As a woman, as a man lies on his face, dead, and his baby clutched to him, it's too much for the world to take. And so we're mobilizing an effort to put more pressure on the border. This is a humanitarian crisis. A bill was passed in the House today, but so far the House and Senate cannot come in. In the meantime, we contacted CVS and Walgreens and churches to mobilize basic necessities, as again I say, diapers and undergarments and women's personal items and clothes and toothbrushes and toothpaste. And then we're preparing to begin to have more massive direct action on the border. We met with Congresswoman Escobar last night, whose congressional district it is, and Congresswoman Maxine Waters, as well as Congressperson Sheila Jackson Lee. There's a delegation of Congress should be going to the border this coming Monday. But now is the time for churches to stand up. Jesus was in the same predicament. The government sought to kill all firstborn babies, and Mary and Joseph sought to gain asylum. They took him as an immigrant to Egypt. He gained asylum, became a refugee. I'm glad that Egypt did not turn him back and let him die at the border. And so in some real sense, we look at a real biblical crisis here. The African-American babies at the border, they were sold as commodities. We must not repeat the worst of these scenes again. And so we're urging people to prepare to give resources. We're not raising any money. That becomes almost a distraction. We can't count money. We are mobilizing basic supplies for children in the main, and a team of doctors who will begin prepare to give them medical examinations. Thank you.
Questions?
There were reports earlier this week about detention centers in Texas, centers operated by Customs and Border Protection that were denying private donations from citizens that are bringing in diapers and food to the detention centers themselves directly. Will this aid go to folks at the border waiting to go in, or will there be like some sort of agreement?
It compounds the crisis, the fact that President Trump is using the babies to exacerbate detention and to use their suffering as a tool for negotiations. And if we cannot get the materials through the border, we'll put them at the border. The world will see diapers stacked up, and toothbrushes, and toothpaste, and undergarments. They'll see us try our very best. At some point in time, it begs the question of civil disobedience we cannot stand by. We've had to engage in civil disobedience before. For peace, we must not do it again. I want to give you before I go, get it, please. Our ministers on the ground and met with, I'm thinking, Dean Swift is a point person, Ruben Garcia, Executive Director, Mary Bull, Intake Coordinator, Annunciation House, 715-545-4509, 1035, 100 Antonio Hill is our pastor that's there today for us and tomorrow. Will Hall, I'm sorry.
Those are the contact people for the campaign?
We're going to send the products to the Annunciation House, a legitimate place where there are already families there, and wait for their children. many children have been identified with families that have just been held, kind of mini concentration camp. And it's so disgraceful to see children dying, suffering without baths, without medical care, without adequate food, sleeping on floors. As a nation, we must do better than this. If we're going to maintain the narrative, give me your tiger, pull your whole mask, and yearn to breathe free, we cannot maintain that narrative and watch what's happening on the border at the same time. And there's a race factor in this. We're not unmindful of that. I hope that tonight in the debate among the candidates that someone will mention the fact that they will not increasing volunteer efforts to get resources. Because we may have hung up in politics for a long time, but the moral matter requires urgency right now.
So will that be a litmus test for the presidential candidates to have an answer to this?
Going to litmus test, but I think that most people who are humane agree. But most politicians tend to go to the political system. But we couldn't wait for the political system to get the right to vote. We had to go outside the system. We couldn't wait for the system for the public accommodation. We had to go outside the system. So maybe we have to go outside the system again. The system is not working. It's broken down, and it's a man-made disaster, and it's immoral and disgraceful. Brother McCoy and Brother Kim, I want you guys to say something. Brother Kim is from that church, and Sister.
Well, I'm Dorothy Brown, clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County, and you may say, well, is this a local issue? Well, I feel that all issues related to human rights are issues that we all have to be concerned about, and this is just a basic human right. When you look at these babies at the borders, babies taking care of babies, and seeing the father and the child laying face down in the water, having lost their lives, just to try to live a decent life. They're just trying to get to a country where they feel they can have a decent life. But of course, we are not demonstrating, at least our leadership in the White House is not demonstrating that the United States is a place where you can enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that our Constitution has guaranteed us. So I stand with Reverend Jackson and these gentlemen and everyone in saying that enough is enough. It's time for us to do everything that we can to stop this disaster. It's just disgraceful, the things that are happening. America is known for more than that. Our entire reputation is at stake. And it's really time for us to do something to say that this is not what America is about. And so I stand with Reverend Jackson today, and we just need to come together as a country to make sure that this kind of thing does not happen, that we're providing all the aid that we possibly can to these children. And so, Reverend, thank you for having this press conference. Thank you for the aid that you're sending to El Paso, Texas, at Annunciation House at 1003 South Antonio Avenue, if anyone wants to take some items there. Thank you.
Beyond,
Your name?
my name is Myron McCoy, pastor of the First United Methodist Church, Chicago. Our concern is one of human rights and human dignity. How can we as people allow persons not to have necessary items for their own cleanliness? We're dehumanizing these young babies. And how soon we forget in this nation, which is made up predominantly of immigrants, that the doors of this country were open to many of their foreparents. And so we need to treat people the way we would want to be treated. And this is certainly a stand that we as the church and religious community must be a part of in saying that this is wrong. This is not right. And we are better people than this. And the dangerous thing with this is this continues. We make ourselves the laughing stock of the world in terms of preaching democracy and being a place for all people. We're better than this.
Amen.
Could you give your name and title, please?
My name is Martin Lee, on behalf of Bishop Sally Dick for the Northern Union Conference of the United Methodist Church. It's very clear that every human being, whether tall or short, young or old, beloved child of God, and we have to treat every human being in the name of Jesus Christ, how he served other people, and remembering who is your neighbor. That's what we are going to do as a church. Thank you.
It's time to escalate the massive civil disobedience if this does not change soon. We must go to the border and sandwich the people, if necessary, go to jail, and make the case that this is immoral, this is degenerate, and we must and can do better. Meantime, we're going to send products, very necessary items for human beings and doctors. Unless something happens, so we're going to escalate that struggle. I read someplace for those big white evangelical churches in Texas. Well, they've been so solid. I read somewhere, as much you've done to the least of these, you've done unto me. The silence of these big, major white churches is deafening. That's why it seems to me there's a race factor in this thing. Any other questions? Yes.
Should folks donate directly to Ring of Push, and then the resources will be sent
No,
there?
no.
Or sent directly to this organization?
Annunciation House in San Antonio, Texas. We sure do not want people to bring in the money because that becomes clouded, the handling of money. We want to be handling the products and mobilizing ministers and doctors. Ministers and doctors. Doctors to check up the children's health. Ministers will show moral witness at the border. And we've contacted CVS and Walgreens and other stores, outlets, and they're cooperating on that.
If the U.S. Border Patrol refuse the items, will you protest?
Of course, one protest is to leave them where they stop us and let the road see them stack up. You see children on one side of the diapers unclean. The clean diapers there is a way of dramatizing just how disgraceful this is a strategy. Punish the children until something happens. And to use children as pawns, this is disgraceful. Thank you, friends. Our convention starts this coming Friday. A labor luncheon, Joe Biden speaks at noontime. The educational luncheon is at night. Major rally Saturday morning. Elizabeth Warren will speak, and Senator Klobuchar and Tulsi Gabbard. Next week we're going to have Mayor Buttigieg and the like, so we'll have a lot of officials in town after the debates tonight. Thank you very much.